You know what I love? Learning. Just gathering knowledge on various subjects like history and geography, and just finding out more information about the world around us. Because learning is fun. Yeah. And here in the UK, we had the best possible way to make kids get excited about facts. America can keep their calm in San Diego, and Canada, take your finding stuff out. No, seriously, take it away. Far away. The hell was that show?
Finding stuff out, finding stuff out, finding stuff out, finding stuff out.
What's your favourite idea? Mine is being creative.
No, I'm talking horrible stuff. But good horrible stuff. I'm talking horrible with a capital H. Horrible histories, horrible science. This was education with attitude. Books, magazines, audio tapes, video games, TV shows. This series did it all. Hey, Cartoon Gavin, get in here and tell the people all about horrible histories.
It made learning cool.
Now you ask people about the Horrible Histories TV show and they'll most likely bring up the sketch-based live-action series from 2009. Not that long ago, but it was incredibly popular, so much so that it won multiple BAFTAs and was the first children's show ever to win a British Comedy Award. Now often when I say what about the animated series, the response is, what? There was a Horrible Histories animated series? Yeah, maybe it was just the circles I operated in, but seems that nobody else saw, or at least remembers this thing. Whenever you talk about cartoons from your childhood, this never seems to come up. But for some unexplainable reason, it always stuck in my head. Just vague sounds and images. But it was there. So years later, during lunchtime in college, when I saw some of the Horrible Histories animated series DVDs on a discount rack, which seems to be a running theme with the shit I review, I was like that. The fuck? Yep, this existed, and it got put onto DVD. It consisted of 26 episodes, which are all piled into this one box set. Much like the books, the show's premise was to deliver historical facts in an entertaining manner for kids by focusing on a particular era in history for each episode. Difference with this one is it has actual non-historical main characters, Stitch and Mo. So, speaking of history, let's travel back through my own personal history to something I barely remember. I can't even remember if I liked this or not. Something tells me I'm sure as shit about to find out if I like it now. Hey CG, you want to get in on this one with me? It is from your era, my childhood.
Now, I'll stay out of this one. Yeah, it'll make the editing easier for you.
Right, yeah, good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, why does the DVD menu look like a Newgrounds Flash game from 2004? Oh right, because this show was from 2001. Had DVD even taken off in 2001? Oh, whatever, we're all spinning towards oblivion. Although Terrible Tudors is listed on the wiki as the first episode broadcast, the first one on the disc is Savage Stone Age. And after all, that's where human history began. So let's call this episode 1 and start our historical adventure at the dawn of man. Oh, I did not know there'd be submenus for the episodes. What is this girl doing on the Savage Stone Age menu? Preparing to receive? That ain't a mammoth trunk, baby. Hey, there's DVD extras. Each episode's menu has fascinating facts. Since the nearest shopping centre was about 40,000 years away, animal skins were a necessity, not a fashion statement. Humans freeze without clothing. Got it. Good fact. Good to know. Cheers. Try telling that to vegans and extremist animal rights activists. They will assert that Neanderthal man was nothing but an immoral murderer. Enough of this. Let's get into the episode. Get that good old nostalgia going. Watch this amazing animation.
The trouble with being a kid today is you grow up too quickly. There's just not enough time. Well, for some kids, that is.
Where are we this time?
Horrible history.
You're once, twice, 3 frames a second, and I love you. Yes, you're once, twice. It's just paper. 3 frames a second, and I love you. Remember that thing I said about the Flash game? It still stands. This is supposed to be Lionel Richie, by the way. The wig came this morning, and it's rather opulent. I kind of look like a backup singer for the Little Shop of Horrors, but currently going through a sex change. Pre-op.
Scouse?
Look at this shit. This is 3 still images rotating. You could do this in Premiere in less than a minute. I'm working on an amateur web animation right now that looks better than this shit. This intro sequence is on fucking amphetamines. The shots are ripped straight from various episodes, so the dialogue has no context. And if you're new to the show, you don't know what the hell's going on. Even the fucking theme tune is tripping. The lyrics consist of the show's namesake being repeated whenever the singer cares to bloody say it.
Where are we this time?
Horrible histories.
Wow!
Horrible histories. Horrible histories. Horrible histories.
Horrible histories. Horrible histories. Horrible history. Horrible histories. Horrible histories.
Well, Mo, what do you think about all this cool old stuff?
We're history!
Judging by the lack of attention or audience this show got, yeah, you fucking are. I'm probably the only person left that remembers this garbage. That's all my head's filled with. Garbage memories of old garbage. God, life's a disappointment. This show is so fucking weird. It even operates outside the rules of a normal DVD. It refuses to pause or rewind and fast forward on both my Xbox One and 360, which is really helpful when you're trying to take notes and write a script for it, as specific a scenario as that is. I had to play it through VLC just to take back basic human control from the infernal object. All hail VLC. So a caveman walks on screen, uses 3 keyframes of animation to pick at a giant slab of stone, uses another 3 keyframes to smash it, and then it instantly breaks into a pile of rubble with no animated progression whatsoever. This was in 2001, over 40 years after the original run of Tom and Jerry, made with far more advanced tools, presumably digital, and distributed on a major UK television network while riding the coattails of an already incredibly popular and financially successful franchise. This is fucking pathetic. By the way, if the voice of Stitch sounds at all familiar, he's voiced by Billy West, the voice behind Fry in Futurama. All I have to say about that is, he deserved better than this. Fucking hell. Horrible Histories deserved better than this, and it's got its fucking name on it.
Here we are at the annual Stitch and Mo pizza eating contest. Okay. Ready?
What, afraid you're gonna lose?
No, just bell peppers make me.
No excuses, go!
Not even a walking animation. You're that lazy? Alright, I'm gonna shut up about the animation now. We all know it's scrotum juice, so let's move on. So this guy Darren comes over, calls them both Neanderthals for eating like pigs, and then they get upset about it, and then this disembodied voice that they don't question out of fear or just general numbness to their own existence starts talking to them and then just teleports them to the Stone Age.
Wouldn't you like to discover what a Neanderthal is before you take it as an insult? Swallow first.
Where are we this time?
Bonjour. Welcome to the south of France 40,000 years ago.
See, it would be kind of cool, in all fairness, to teleport wherever you want throughout history at any given time. But the problem here is that A, it's under someone else's control, B, it's purely educational, and C, it's at the most inconvenient times. I mean, they were having dinner. What if it were worse? What if one of them were on the toilet or something, and dropped a Hiroshima right into the crappan, and then said some innocuous yet relevant statement like, "Ugh, it stinks, I hate poop." Then all of a sudden some cosmic tour guide whisks you 1500 years into the past. Now you're standing in the middle of the Incan Empire with your trousers around your ankles and a metaphysical Irishman going, "You hate poop, do you? Bet you think it's pretty useless. Well, looks like you could learn a thing or two about guano."
This is fur. I don't wear fur.
As I was trying to say before animal rights activists.
Bloody hell. Life before Peter. I wish I had a magic Irishman. The fucking frame quality keeps changing. Sorry, I'm sorry, this is just, it's fucking horrendous. Sizes change, frame rates change, line smoothness changes. This is some of the lowest quality animation I've ever seen. Online animations included. And this went to fucking television. Her ear is clipped. Fuck this! Okay, I'll really try to stop. Just... God.
I think you guys are having an era problem. Maybe even an era infection.
That was a pretty good pun, as far as puns go. Shame it landed like a sack of veal on a concrete slab.
Dinosaurs didn't exist at the same time as Neanderthal man. In fact, they died out 60 million years before Neanderthal man even hit the scene.
I already know dinosaurs and man didn't coexist. I already learnt that from a far superior animation.
You know the Flintstones is only partly based on fact.
Am I going nuts? Or is the animation starting to become endearing? No, it's just this one scene with the monkeys. I like monkeys. The animators of this show excluded.
Wait a sec. If we evolved from monkeys or apes, how come there are still monkeys and apes?
Oh, theist burn! There's no answer for that. There is no answer for that.
Different type of apes. These fellas had opposable thumbs.
What's that? I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. Yeah, as I was saying, there is no answer for that.
It's all in the opposable thumbs. Most animals have fixed thumbs or paws, right?
But the evolving human hands have opposable thumbs for grasping, which give them greater ability to do things like...
Hey, I get it. Like picking up sticks, tying sneaker laces.
Is this a history lesson or an introduction for babies on how fucking thumbs work?
Neanderthals were foragers, as well as hunters. Basically, if you can find it or catch it, you can eat it.
You can find solace and you can catch a cold, but you can't fucking eat them. Unless you're an omnipresent being who eats concepts and emotions for breakfast, like the bodiless cunt from Kildare here. So there's a few minutes of some of the most obvious filler I've ever seen, where they meet these Neanderthals that look like them and then chase off the monkey they met earlier and then get taken back to the village, believing they'll be given food. When in actual fact, it turns out the Neanderthals want to eat them.
You don't want to eat us. We're full of preservatives, yeah.
And all artificial colours and flavourings from all the junk food we eat.
Good thing this show was made in 2001. And that's before Jamie's school dinner. Another little history fact for you there, kids. My point being that if this was made anywhere after 2005, these kids wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Jamie the cunt, and I call him that because I don't have a clever name because I genuinely think he's a cunt, changed the way kids eat in this country and started the chain of no added flavours and preservatives and making companies be more open and honest about the nutritional values in an effort to save kids. Yet if being unhealthy and uneatable would save a kid's life now, they'd all be fucked. Good job, Jamie. You have doomed every child in this country. Okay, I'm just reaching for another reason to hate him, but why not? I fucking love turkey twizzlers. Oh, and they don't get eaten anyway, because the cavemen already found a pig. You know, I'm shitting a lot on this show, but in all honesty, it's doing its primary job quite well. There's a massive focus on facts here. There isn't a 2-minute long period where the context isn't explained in a cutaway to how this was done or how that worked. As an educational show, it works very well. I made fun about the opposable thumbs thing being pretty basic earlier, but even I'm learning things I didn't know, like how Neanderthal man cooked meat. I mean, the setup for the characters and story are awful, but that's exactly what they are, setup. Simply context, so the show has an excuse to share these facts in the format of a television show. That being said, the latest live-action Horrible Histories did this too, and while that was non-linear as far as having main characters and a running story, there have been plenty of other educational shows that have done that, but the difference is, they had good story and characters, and animation too. It's not impossible, or unheard of, but this one just doesn't. I don't think it gets a free pass for the education aspect working well when none of the other elements do. Just like I don't think bland, shitty kids movies get a free pass for fart jokes and cliche stories just because they're made for kids. Kids movies can still be well made with a lot of passion and effort. Call this a mid-episode analysis, but so far it's got bad points, a couple of good points too. The narrator's pretty likeable. But then something comes along to remind you that the production is just so shoddy. Look at this. His body just cuts off above the bottom of the screen. It's not even lined up. For fuck's sake, how do you miss this on export? It takes literally a second to drag this down when you're editing. This happens all the way through the show. Character cut-offs are just blatantly left in. The scripting and fact writing is fine, but this is just a massive testament to the amount of care that went into every creative and visual aspect of the show. Fucking zero. Character models get cropped, shots hang too long, quality changes. It's like the writers of the book also got put in charge of animating and editing to save money when they have no experience in those roles. Get professionals to do this. It's embarrassing. I always think of myself as a pretty shitty editor and animator that has a lot to learn, but at least I don't make mistakes like this, and at such a high frequency. In the first episode. In one episode. The fact that the people who worked on this got paid for the job and then had their work put on public television, and I'm struggling to get even a few dozen people to watch my shit for free just to kickstart a career in this field, is fucking depressing. This is why I wanted to critique this show. Christ, it's some of the worst animation and editing I've ever seen put to screen. Honestly, not to be coincidental in bringing it back up, but I think the art style for something like the Ricky Gervais show would work so well for an animated Horrible History series. That style is capable of looking gross, which some moments in the Ricky Gervais show were made to look, and that's a familiar running theme in the Horrible Histories franchise. Plus it would add way more personality. If the show had that animation, was non-linear, like it didn't have main characters or a basic structure and instead just opted for telling as many facts as possible about a certain historical period, with this narrator doing the job the whole time, I think the show could actually work. Instead, we get obnoxious morons who are made to identify with the target audience, but just take up screen time with stupid one-liners. Hey look kids, they eat pizza and don't know nothing about nothing. Aren't Stitch and Mo cool?
Stitch, you're not going to believe this, but that ratty monkey thing belongs to our friends here. Now we've got to get it back for him.
Okay, I'll put that on my to-do list.
Why was there a drum stinger there? There wasn't a fucking punchline. Christ, they just chainsawed that mammoth in half.
Do you think mammoths are rare in this day and age?
Depends on how you cook them.
For fuck's sake. Jokes don't work if you slap a goddamn drum stinger at the end of every one and then drag out the reaction shot. That's how you develop bad comedy habits. Oh my god. That's it, isn't it? 15 years ago we watched this shit as kids, and then we grew up thinking this was what comedy's supposed to be, and that's why we ended up with 2 shitty Hangover sequels. And a fairly average Hangover 1. What have we done? We let this happen!
Oh, come on, this is comedy gold, people.
Closer to Comedy Mercury, because it's driving me nuts and it's killing me. It kind of takes the point out of it, doesn't it? I've dragged dead hookers 6 miles out of town into a desolate woodland clearing. But this guy drags out jokes like a motherfucker. I could have been more careful in disposing of my horse. Someone could easily stroll through the woods and find the corpses. But they'll never find this guy's punchlines.
Where are you?
Blackface. Not cool. Feels like I've been watching for hours. This is a 23-minute long cartoon. It just goes on and on. The cutaways to the interesting fact breaks are the only respite. Oh my god. I could have fucked, killed, and disposed of another hooker by now.
Smells like fertilizer. But wait, couldn't that mean Neanderthals learned to cultivate crops and domesticate animals for work and food and stuff like that?
All that's going to have to wait until Cro-Magnon people figure it out in about 25,000 years.
I hope Cro-Magnon Man isn't this badly written.
It's that ratty monkey thing!
And he's trapped by a slobbering ratty tiger thing.
I wouldn't say trapped so much as at equal odds with an animal the same fucking size. Because monkeys and tigers are the same size, right? And pink. Fucking hell. Look at this tiger move. It's the kind of thing you'd see get produced in an extracurricular BBC learning course in Intro to Animation for ages 7 through 12. But it's a professional commercially distributed series. So fuck me in the nose. And then they capture the tiger and use their newfound knowledge of hunting and gathering in the modern world by living in the wilderness and fending for themselves, becoming incestual woodland hicks in the process.
Uh-oh, I feel an ice age coming on.
I hope you've discovered that's a good thing.
Sure have.
Ooh, we got it! Ooh.
Then my work is done.
Wait. What currently fucks my ears? I thought you warped them here to not get offended by being called a Neanderthal by learning they were actually very intelligent. Now their lesson is that sub-zero apocalypses can be a good thing. What rules are in play here? Does this narrator change his mind at a passing fancy? Like, learned a lesson. Oh, we did. We learned that maths is a very important thing. No, that's not the lesson. You'll have to stay here till you learn it. And then they're stuck in ancient Rome for decades, eventually can't take the adjustment, and try to jump off an aqueduct. All of a sudden, oh, very good, you've learnt the lesson. Humans aren't meant to fly. Okay, back home you go. Fucking leprechaun. Leprechaun. Oh, look at this fucking hypocrite. Greedy bastard's got sauce all over his face. And he's using a knife and fork and a bib, so that shouldn't have happened. Think of the mess he'd have made without the bib and cutlery. 3 cardinal sins in effect. He's a hypocrite, he's messy regardless, and he's eating pizza with a knife and fork. Who does that?
Hey, Darren! Thanks for the compliment.
What are you talking about?
I'll calling us Neanderthals. Neanderthals were major contributors to our evolutionary chain.
And use their larger-than-yours brains to outthink every other creature on the planet.
Communicated using sign language.
Make awesome time-saving tools out of rocks.
And even figured out a way to boil water with them.
Neanderthals ruled the Stone Age.
So, what have you contributed to civilization today, Darren?
Darren killed himself after that. See, Darren just wanted to feel big for once in his life. He'd constantly been picked on. I mean, look at him. Prep boy, neat hair kind of lad, ginger. You'd kick the shit out of him, I know I would. He wanted to be the one to throw a name or an insult someone's way for a change. But it backfired. Spectacularly. Darren got schooled. Literally got a lesson. The most savage lesson in history. Both generally throughout the course of human existence, and literally in the educational subject of history. It was the biggest diss ever in the history of disses, which they call distery. They fucking wrecked him. He couldn't take it. Look at his face. A crushing blow. Absolutely destroyed. R.I.P. Dylan. Or whatever the fuck. Or are the animators for this? Piece of shit. Wow, a lot of animators. What were they doing? 1, 2, 3. Nina Glenn. Okay, 16 animators. 16 goddamn animators. Some pencils, some digital. Hey, you lot. Hey. Darren's waiting for you. You know what you need to do. Like, there's nothing here I can't do in my sleep. And I'm wank at this. Like I'm Dr. Wankenstein. And these videos are my ungodly creations. But at least my monsters are sewn together properly. Like, there's no reason why it should fail at so many levels of production. For something that went to air. Like, I made a silly animated intro and outro for a mock TV interview show in college that the class was doing. And I made it entirely in Flash. Now, I'm not trying to big myself up, because quite frankly, I'm a subpar editor and animator with a lot to learn. But it was the same level of quality and skill as this show. Here's the problem with that. I was 18, I did it entirely by myself, and I wasn't getting paid for it. Unlike these people. Fucking atrocious. Where's my full-time fucking job on television? Bollocks. Now, that was our first glimpse at Horrible Histories, but I'm not satisfied just watching one episode, because I'm a masochist. Also, I feel I kind of focused a little too much on the technical aspects. So let's watch another and grade the show as an actual episode. If we can. Look, I'm just not too interested in the Stone Age. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I should watch an episode for a historical era I would wish to learn about. So join me in part 2 of this review, where we'll be learning all about the measly Middle Ages. Hopefully we'll get educated on many different things to do with the medieval era. Like how to set up your own gallows so I can mercifully hang myself after watching more of this shit.